Today, we're making cod au gratin. And even though this is a very basic, simple, and traditional Newfoundland meal, there is many different ways to make it. So a lot of people are going to argue in the comments that this is not the traditional way, or this is not how they make it. Well, this is the traditional way. It's the basic, simple cod au gratin. Now, cod for many years, even back in the 1600s, was baked with different sauces like creams, even more basic. But it was only around the mid-1900s that processing of dairy took place, where we started adding cheese. So this is not a old recipe that dates back, 100 years or more, but it is definitely something that became even better over time. Now, I know a lot of people adds a lot of different spices and ingredients, but we're going to stick to the very basic, simple, traditional cod au gratin. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to boil our fish, and we have some beautiful cod fillets here. Now, I got plenty to make 2 dishes of cod au gratin, and I'm definitely going to do that. So you only need about 3 fillets to do 1 dish with the ingredients I'm going to be sharing with you. So this beautiful cod, I get about 6 or 7 fillets here. That is absolutely beautiful. Just going to add it to the pot and boil it for about 20 minutes. Then once it's done, we're going to prepare our dish with some beautiful cheeses and along with some onion. Very basic, very simple, but very delicious. Of course, this is fresh fish that Dad actually caught. Didn't catch it this year. We had it frozen since last year because he wasn't fortunate enough to get out in boat. We don't own our own boat, so we have to rely on invites from other people. And this year, he didn't get an invite. So we didn't get any of our own fish. Still got some from last year, and we also bought a bit of fish. And we also purchased some fish as well. Would have been nice to get out in boat, get some fish, but sometimes it just doesn't work out. We're going to boil this for about 20 to 25 minutes, probably around 20 minutes. Then we're going to bake it for another 30 minutes. So our cod is fully cooked. So what we're going to do, we're going to just place that to one side, the cover. We're going to take our fish out, kind of let it cool a little, because we do have to take the skin off. So we kind of want it out of the water. Now there will be some water in with the fish in the bowl, but we want it to cool a little before we take the skin off. Fresh codfish. It's nice when you're able to fish it yourself. Nothing better. So we don't want to get all the fish. We don't want to throw any away. There we go. Move that pot to one side. Now we're going to move. So we're going to start preparing our onion. We're going to add lots of onion to this recipe. And where we got lots of beautiful fish, we're actually going to cook up 2 batches. Why not? Have it for a few days. And if it tastes good, why not give some away? So we'll see how it turns out. I mean, it's very basic. It has to be delicious, because you're not adding any type of ingredient that's questionable for people. It's a very simple, traditional, basic recipe. Some people don't like onion. We all know who that is, right, Sean? But that's okay too. Onion is what makes a lot of flavor in a lot of recipes. A lot of people like the taste, but they don't like the texture of onion. I was like that when I was younger, but I grew up. Sean haven't grown up yet, and I think at this point it's probably too late. So we got our onion ready. We're just going to chop that up. So let's get that done before we start preparing everything. Cod au gratin I haven't had in such a long time, and it calls for mozzarella cheese for on top, but I don't have any mozzarella. I got marble, and the reason I got marble is it's lactose. So it's lactose. Now, back in '95, I started getting a really bad cough, and it lasted forever. Could last 3 months. But the cough would always come mostly after I get the flu, and it would last forever. And I mean, went to the doctor. They said, "Oh no, you need puffers." It's like, no, I don't need puffers, because the puffer they gave me was this blue one, same one my father was taking. And I actually had tried my father's. I know you're not supposed to try other people's medications, but this was just a very basic standard puffer that they gave to everyone. Everyone had one that needed a puffer, and I tried that. It didn't help. The doctor said, "Oh no, it's just your airway needs to be open," and it's like, got nothing to do with my airway. It's like there's something on my chest that I just can't get off my chest. So went with the puffer. That didn't work. And this was in '95, and I did not find out what was wrong until maybe 10 years ago, and it might have been not even 10, I'm not sure, but let's say around 10 years ago. Mom was talking to her niece, and she heard me coughing, and she said, "Oh, well, Jimmy's allergic to dairy too." I said, "Not that we know of." She said, "Yeah, that's the cough." She said, "A lot of us got it too. Sister now has it. Well, father has it as well, but father's on the other side of the family." So I don't know what happened there, but it's a buildup of mucus that we can't get off our chest. And as a result of my coughing, I actually formed an hernia that a few years ago I had repaired. So the coughing would be violent coughing. And so if I have too much dairy over a period of 3 or 4 days, if I consume too much or too much processed foods, then the coughing starts. And then I got to basically stop all dairy, all processed foods, in order to get it out of my system. So Dad has it, my sister has it. So I try to go with lactose milk, and we have it here today, lactose milk, and also lactose cheese, and it doesn't have any effect on me. So it doesn't hurt me, cheese doesn't hurt me, dairy doesn't hurt me. It's not like I'm lactose, but it just creates more mucus that creates a lot of coughing, violent coughing, and gets really bad. So we're going with marble lactose. That's the only thing I can find, and I actually enjoy the lactose version. So what we're going to do now, we have our onion separated for 2 dishes, because this recipe is for 1 dish, but I got lots of cod, enough to make 2 dishes. So what we're going to do, we're going to get this set up. That onion is going to go on top after. So we're going to push this to one side just to make some room. And we're going to prepare our fish. We're going to get our fish put in the bowl. And like I said, we got enough to have 2 dishes. So we want to take the skin off the fish. So it's very easy once it's cooked, and we're just going to place it in the bottom. Now 3 fillets should be plenty for this recipe, for the amount that I'm going to talk about. And I thought I brought a fork, make it a little easier. Don't worry about my hands. My hands is very clean. When we're at this stuff, we're constantly washing, constantly using wipes. So we're going to put the fish in the bottom. Just break it up a little bit, not a lot. We want the bottom to be completely covered. Like I said, you can see how easy it is to skin a fish. As they say, skin a cat, but we're going to skin a fish. So there we go. Just break it apart a bit. Cover the bottom. Nice and flaky. Now, it says completely cooked fish, right? Now, if you make cod au gratin, do you cook your fish first? Or do you just put it in the oven, cook it in the oven, and then add cheese later? Is that what you do? Let me know, because we can do it different the next time. Just give me some ideas. When it comes to other ingredients, just let me know what you add to your cod au gratin. Have you ever made it before? Is there another fish that you use this recipe for? Because I mean, we have people watching from all over the world. So it's nice to know, is there another type of fish that you have this recipe for? Because this is a very basic recipe. So let me know in the comments. Have you ever made this type of recipe with a different fish? And what do you do different? There we go. We don't want to break it up too small. We're only cooking it long enough to get a nice golden brown on our cheese. And like I said, it only takes about 3 nice fillets to fill the bottom. And this skin is very, very good, very high in nutrients as well. Now, some people will take the skin of cod, dry it, and they will give it to their dogs over the winter as treats. Very high in nutrients. So anytime you skin your cod and you got a dog, think about just drying it. Put it on the flake, put it outside. In the summer especially, it's easy to do. And dry your fish. Dry the skins for your dog for the winter. I'm sure they will love it. And we're almost done with this dish. Now, even though this is skinned and everything, you might get the odd bone, and so be careful when you're eating any type of dish like this with fish. Even though they'll say that it's boneless, there's always a chance. There's always a chance there may be a bone. So don't eat as if it's your last meal. Now, some people might say that I'm mangling this fish, but I'm not. I'm mostly touching the skin, very little touching of the fish itself. And I don't care if I get off all the fish, because I'm going to give that skins to the doggies as a treat. Now, this one is done. And again, my hands is plenty of clean. And if you were cooking for your family, would you have gloves on? You might say, well, this is on the internet. Yes, it is. It's on the internet. You're watching from the internet. Surprise, surprise. But what home do you go into on your family, whether it be your brothers or sisters or in-laws or your parents, and you go into the kitchen and they got a hair net on their beard for the guys, and preparing your meal. I don't think too many people experience that. I'd be worried, very worried, if I walked into a kitchen of a family member and they got gloves and an hairnet and probably even a mask on. I'd be very worried about what I'm eating. Very worried. More so than they're worried about any type of cross-contamination or their hands touching the food. Yeah, I'd definitely be worried. I'd have to think back, did I do something to them this week that they're a little upset with? Because I don't think anyone have ever walked into a family member's kitchen with them using gloves. And so, we're not cooking in a restaurant. That's totally different atmosphere, totally different regulations. We're giving it out to family and friends, and if they don't want to eat it, they don't have to. Nobody's forcing them. I might have enough fish here for this dish. I might have overdid it with that one, but this codfish smells incredible. And we take it for granted. I know we do, that we can get codfish fairly easily, even if we gotta buy it. If we had our own boat, but we got so much stuff on the go right now that we're trying to do that a boat is not in the picture. Love to have it. I used to have my own boat years ago when I lived at home before I moved in here, and Dad always had access to a boat as well. So we always did fishing, squid fishing, cod fishing, always. So sometimes we take it for granted when we can't do it anymore. But getting a boat is really not something we want to invest in right now, as I'm trying to start my house in the near future, and that's going to cost a fortune in itself. So as long as we can still buy fish, we're still good. Okay, we got some. This is the worst thing about the fish, is sometimes you get a section where you can feel the bones, and hopefully there's not a lot of bone in this, but I can feel it. So I want to take out the bone as much as possible. I don't want anybody choking on our cod gratin. There we go. Look how beautiful, how white Atlantic cod really is. It's absolutely beautiful. This dish a little smaller. We're okay with that. Not quite as thick. 3 fillets is all you need. 1.5 pounds. If you got more, you make more. I'm gonna add some onion, and I might have added too much. That's okay. They call for a lot. If we don't use all this, we'll make something up tomorrow to use the rest of the onion. There we go. That's all we're going to use. We're going to use the rest for tomorrow. They called for a lot of onion for this recipe, but we don't need it. That's plenty. The top is covered, and that's all that matters. A little bit more. We love onion. So now we're going to add our breadcrumbs. We're going to add our breadcrumbs before we add the milk. I think it's 1.5 cups of milk. I'm going to use this to sprinkle on the breadcrumbs. I'm not sure how much breadcrumbs we're going to use. Let me see. This is 1/2 cup. definitely needs more. And I say it's going to be a full cup. And it is a full cup of breadcrumbs. I'm going to cover all the fish, all the onion. There we go. Looks incredible. It's going to taste incredible. Trust me on that. So we're going to do the same for the smaller amount here. The dish is probably the same. It's like a 2.3 liter dish. We're definitely going to add more breadcrumbs. Now we're going to freeze the rest of that bag of breadcrumbs, and the reason for that is when we does our dressing, when we're cooking up a good meal and we're making our dressing, it's nice to have some breadcrumbs. Instead of wasting it, throwing it out, we're actually going to freeze it. So this is the lactose milk that I use. I like it. I really like it. And we're going to use a cup of milk. So this is actually half a cup. So we're going to pour up. There we go. And we don't want to get our breadcrumbs wet. That's the point of it, get it wet. Let it soak in that milk. I might use a little bit more for the bigger dish. Just a little bit more for the bigger dish. I'm going to use a cup for this one. Now this is lactose, so it's not going to give you as a creamy, same as regular milk, because it's more watered down kind of thing. So unless you're lactose, go with your regular milk for this, and it'll give you a much creamier base. We'll see how that turns out. It's going to be different with the lactose. So now we got our milk added. We're going to add some salt and pepper. We should have did that before we put the breadcrumbs on, but nevertheless, I'm going to do it now. Because there is no salt. This is not salt fish. This is fresh fish. It's not corn fish, it's fresh fish. So let's get some pepper in there. Mother's not crazy about a lot of pepper, so we'll get some in there just to give it a little bit of taste. We're going to go with some grated cheese. Now the grated cheese. Sometimes I forget the garbage is there. So we're gonna get our cheese ready. We're gonna grate it up. Lactose cheese, again, you can go with regular. I only went with this because of our condition, or my condition. So go with regular cheese, mozzarella. Some people put breadcrumbs on top of the cheese. We're doing it the old-fashioned way, the traditional way. How much cheese? Well, that's to your own desire. We're going to coat the entire top of the dish. And we'll have to make sure there's quite a bit. And you know what? We might even add some breadcrumbs to the top. Just sprinkle it on, just so that it gets into the cheese. Nice to have some breadcrumbs in the cheese. So let's give this a try now. Let's spread this out. Definitely need more for there, I think. But we might have enough for here. No, we don't have enough. We don't have enough cheese. What are you talking about? Oh, almost enough there. But no. That's not enough cheese. What are you talking about? Again, that might be enough for you. All right? I kind of go overboard with the cheese. He likes it cheesy. And again, we're just going with the traditional recipe. I know usually when I make things like pizza and a casserole, anything with cheese, I like adding different types of cheeses to get more flavors. But our main goal here is to get the flavor of the cod. We don't want anything to interrupt that beautiful flavor. So that's why I'm not going with multiple cheeses. Plus, this is going to be with normal milk and normal cheese. It's going to be full of dairy. It's going to be like loaded with dairy, and I don't want that. I want to enjoy it, and I don't want to suffer for it because of coughing. So that's why I went with the lactose. But if you go with normal milk, normal cheese, it's going to be very creamy. It's going to be very nice. There we go, a little bit there. I think we're good with all that. There we go, get the rest inside. There we go, push that back. You know, some recipes calls for dill, some for mustard, and there's so many different spices you can add. And it's all great. Don't get me wrong, it's all great. It all tastes wonderful. You get all those flavors. Of course it will taste great. But we want the traditional. Now we're just going to sprinkle a little bit on top so that it melts into the cheese. Just a little. Nothing too much. Cod au gratin. Don't have to be difficult. It don't have to be, oh, I don't have this spice in this, because I was going around town looking for different spices. And I called Mom and I said, Mom, check your old cookbook. What do it say about cod au gratin? She came back with a very simple, very basic recipe. And I'll post it for you so you can see it. And she said, this is all it calls for. And she said, you know, the things you're asking for, she said, I never added that to my cod au gratin. So we want something very simple, very delicious. We don't want a lot of ingredients that overpowers the taste of the cod, because if you're buying your cod, it can be very expensive. So why miss out on that flavor and that taste? You know, I know wings, chicken wings is a big thing. And there's people that love the hot wings, but you're paying so much money for wings and you can't even enjoy the taste of the chicken. Their mouths are burning. You know, those really hot wings, right? The extreme wings, the extreme heat. And it's like, man, just pour the hot sauce in your mouth. But I know a lot of people love it and they enjoy it and they love going out and having hot wings. But I want to enjoy the flavor of the meat, the flavor of the fish. Now sometimes, yeah, I do like a hot wing. I do like loading up on different spices and cheeses and different ingredients. And sometimes I do enjoy that as well. But most of the time when it comes to fish, I want to enjoy the taste of the fish. I don't want anything to be, you know, disguise the taste and overpower the taste. I just want a beautiful tasting fish. That's why I love fried cod. Love it. And I love Mom's deep fried cod because the batter doesn't overpower the taste of the fish. And I like to try that soon. I like to get a nice fillet and actually use Mom's batter Try to make it a little more, less fluffy, more crisp. And I want to experiment with that sometime soon in a video to see how it turns out. But this codfish, cod au gratin, I can't wait to try it. I know that milk is not as thick. You know, you can use cream if you want. You know, there's so many different things you can do to spruce it up, to make it more creamier. But we're definitely going to throw this in the oven. We're going to bake it on 325 until the cheese is golden brown. Remember, the fish is cooked. And once the cheese is golden brown, we're good. Don't leave it in any more than 30 minutes. So let me know, do you cook your fish first? Mom couldn't remember. It's been so long since Mom made it. Mom said, I don't think I cooked my fish first. So let me know, did you cook your fish first? Or did you add everything besides the cheese, place it in the oven for longer, and when the fish was baked, you added the cheese for 15-20 minutes afterwards? Let me know. Is that how you did it? Did you bake your fish in the oven, then added the cheese for the last 15-20 minutes? Or did you pre-cook your fish first? I'd like to know. Mother can't remember. It's been that long. So we're going to throw this in the oven, then we're going to show you what it looks like. Hopefully that lactose milk, hopefully it'll turn out the way we want it. And the cod au gratin is all ready. Look how amazing this looks. We're going to take up a bit. We let it set for just a few minutes. Kind of wanted the bubbling to stop. Kind of let it thicken up a little. Didn't want to cut into it when it was too hot or it'd be too runny. So by letting it cool down a bit, you're letting it set up a bit. Let's go. It smells incredible. Let's get the sides down. Look at this. Look how beautiful that looks. Oh, that is incredible. Oh, look at the fish. The fish. The onion. Look at that. Let's get some more. Now that milk is more runnier than it would be if it was thicker cream or even regular milk. But again, I didn't want to be coughing for 2 or 3 days. So this is why we're using the lactose. Look at this, beautiful. Beautiful. Oh, smells incredible. Beautiful. Oh. We're going to taste that cod first, just the cod. Yeah, I remember the taste now. It's been a while, but we also got some beautiful crumbs in there, some beautiful cheese, and that fly is back. Get a good taste of all of it together with onion. Wonderful meal. Absolutely delicious. That cod au gratin turned out perfect. Beautiful flavors. Just beautiful. This is a delicious meal. Great as a side dish if you don't want to have it for a full meal where you do have a lot of dairy. You can definitely cook it and have it as a side dish. That's why you don't need a lot of codfish in the bottom. That's why you don't need a lot of codfish in the bottom. We're bringing back our dragonfly. It's been working, believe it or not. So the cod gratin, very traditional, very basic ingredients, because we want to enjoy that codfish, the flavors of the cod. And it turned out absolutely perfect, except for less creamy because of the lactose milk, but I'm okay with that because I won't be coughing for the next week. I can actually sit down and enjoy this and not have to worry about the effects. And if you enjoy Newfoundland content, if you enjoy my videos, and if you enjoy fishing and hunting, I want you to check out my cousin's YouTube page. It's right over here, and he does a lot of outdoor activities, hunting, fishing, and he just lives down the road from me. Great content, great family. Go check him out. I'll leave a link in the description. And if you really enjoyed this video, check out this one over here, and we'll see you in our next video.